At the end of the Gospel of Matthew in chapter 28, Jesus gives to us the Great Commission, and he says these words, "Therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I've commanded you. And surely I am with you always to the very end of the age." Today we're going to be doing some interviews with individuals who have been a part of Salkahachie from here within our church at Union United Methodist. And we're going to be asking questions here in an interview situation. Some of the questions that we're going to be asking them is how long they've been a part of Salkahachie, why it is that they are a part of it, and what keeps bringing them back. And we've been setting up this interview situation today because we want you to hear from them, their heart. And so anytime someone sits in this chair and we do an interview, we want you to hear from them. What God's doing in their life, what God has been doing in their life, many years for some of them, been a part of this ministry. Our hope is that you would understand why some of us are so passionate about Salkahachie. Yes, it's one of thousands of ministries that you could be a part of, or missions, but why God has called us specifically to Salkahachie. And we want to inspire you to be a part, maybe if you've never been a part of Salkahachie, to understand how you can be a part and how much it will help you grow in your faith, and what a blessing it is to bless others. So you ready to roll some tape?
Ready to roll.
All right, so tell me your name.
Alyssa.
Alyssa.
Clark.
There you go. Now is this your first year of Salkahachie, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're 14,
Mm-hmm.
first year. What
Yeah.
camps? You went to more than one camp, right?
I went to Loris and Lexington.
All right, you had a good time?
Mhm.
Both of them?
Mhm.
All right. State your name.
Sonny Harper.
All right. Sonny, how many years have you been involved with Salkahachie?
15 or 20, something like that.
15 to 20 years. Okay. Now you've done several camps. You've been Lexington. What camps have you been a part of?
Lexington, Loris, Lake City, Santee. Where did you go? McClellanville?
Right. Back in '89.
99.
Back in '89.
First one.
Yeah, there you go. So that was your first one, back in '89. All right. So we can figure out how long you've been doing it now. First of all, state your name.
Terry Alford,
Thank you. How long have you been involved with Salkahachie?
since 2007.
2007. Now you have participated in more than one camp. So which camps have you participated in?
Lexington, and this was my first year at Ori or Loris Camp.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me your name.
Bobby Richardson.
Bobby Richardson. Okay. Bobby, how long have you been involved with Salkahachie?
About 6 years directly. Rob, my son, had gone to Salkahachie, and then got closer with you and Sammy and Susan, and kind of got sucked into it.
Joan Mawhinney.
Okay, and that's Joan?
Yes.
All right. Okay, get it, Mawhinney. You want
Mawhinney.
to spell that for the cameraman? Now, Joan, how many years or how long have you been associated with Salkahachie?
14.
Wow, 14 years.
Yes.
I did not realize that long. All right, 14 years. All right, so tell me your name. You're
Dylan.
Dylan Tyndall.
Yes.
Dylan, how long have you been going to Salkahachie?
About 4 years.
4 years?
Yeah.
Now, you've been to one camp for 4 years, right?
Well,
You did two.
last year I did Loris and Lexington.
Okay. And you went back to Lexington this year. All right,
Yeah.
so you've been to two different camps. How did you get involved with Salkahachie to begin with?
My mom.
Your mom?
Yeah.
She make you go?
Yeah, she made me go the first year.
But you keep going
But
back.
now it's my choice to go.
Okay. So, are you glad your mom made you go?
Yes, that's a good experience.
Yeah. So, tell me your name.
Nancy Tyndall.
All right. Nancy, how long have you been associated with Salkahachie?
I think 2005 was my first, 2005 or 2006 was my first year.
About 7 or 8 years,
Mhm.
give or take. Now, what camps have you been involved with? Is it Lexington camp or?
I've been to the Lexington camp every year. I did work a couple of days with the Loris camp
Right.
one year.
Tell me your name.
My name's Andrew Fox.
How long have you been involved with Salkahachie?
This past summer completed my 12th year.
12th year.
Yeah.
one camp specifically? You've been to several? Or?
Only camp has been Ori, which is
Okay.
Loris based, and I guess I've attended 12 out of the 14 years. Started going when I was 14.
All right. Who got you in Salkahachie?
I guess it was almost a given, really. My aunt and uncle had to camp up. Family members attend, cousins attend, brother attended a couple years before I started, and been going ever since. So
Something you kind of fell into?
it's something I fell into. I guess it was almost expected, really. Never pushed on me, but it was a way to go, and I guess you got to go to really understand it. But it got me out of the tobacco field for a week,
Yeah.
and that was good too. So.
That's always a good thing. So tell me your name.
Stuart Fox.
S-T-E.
Don't do it. S-T-U-A-R-T.
Okay. All right. Fox. F-O-X. Stuart, how long have you been involved with Salkahachie?
15 years, ever since 14 years old.
All right. So you're 29, been doing Salkahachie. Who got you in Salkahachie, man? How'd you get started?
Man, the crazy thing, I remember the day I was at Grandma's house, our grandma, and your mom and my dad were pretty much double teaming, talk about this camp. I had no idea. And I always, me and my brother, we always attended, sports camps. But this one was a sports camp. I had no idea, they call it Salkahachie, never heard before in my life.
Yeah.
Had no idea, but I pretty much agreed to it. Didn't have much choice. But yeah, I remember the day when I was 14-year-old sitting on Grandma's couch, and your mom and my dad pretty much double teaming and said, "You're going to attend this camp."
So you're drafted.
I was drafted.
Yeah,
pretty
you're
much.
conscripted into Salkahachie.
It got me a week from working during the summer.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm game.
Sammy Johnson.
All right, Sammy. Sammy, how long have you been associated with Salkahachie?
23 years.
23 years. How do you start? Who got you into it?
A good friend who was at that time was our pastor at church, and Steve had been on to me for 4 years to go to Salkahachie, and at that time we were farming, and it was just kind of hard to get away during the summertime to go to camp. But anyhow, Dad and I worked it out to where I could go, and we went that first year and came back and said, I don't know how, God willing, I'll never miss another one. And so at this point we haven't.
So you went down to the first Salkahachie. I remember that. You rolled down there with a trailer full of tools, right? Or?
No, I had a nail apron, a cloth nail apron, a hammer, a crowbar, and I think a skill saw.
So
limited tools.
All right. So Susan, how long have you been involved with Salkahachie?
22 years.
22 years. You started very young then.
Very young.
You were very young. You started.
Very young.
How did someone rope you into it? How in the world did you get involved with Salkahachie?
Well, actually, Sammy went the first year
Okay.
without me. And when he came back and shared his experience, I told him you wouldn't go without me again.
Okay.
So I've been going ever since.
All right. When you come back from Salkahachie, how does it change your daily life, or does it change your daily life? Does it change how you view people, or does it change the way that you look at people and life?
Well, it kind of changed me because I'm a really bad complainer. Like, if my battery is on 20%, I'm like, get to that charger. And then there's these people, like the lady I worked on in Lexington, she never complained. Like, she didn't complain there's holes in her roof, that it was leaking. Like, I've only heard her complain one time because her back was hurting. That's the only time out the whole week I've heard her complain.
Why do you think they don't complain? Or why do you think this particular lady doesn't complain?
I don't really know, actually, because, if that was my house, I would be complaining left and right.
I think it changed me. I was talking about when my children would come back, they'd be different. And sometimes it wouldn't last too long, but I said, well, maybe I need to experience that.
Right.
Being with the water company, I can see my families at Salkahachie, and if they didn't have the monies to pay for that water, especially in the heat and in all times, but your heart bleeds. It's the hardest thing in the world to look at somebody and say, I'm going to cut your water off if you don't make your payment by this day. Because I know that the vast majority of the people are not taking advantage, that they are truly struggling and they're doing the best they can do. And water is what keeps us alive. And it makes you have a lot more compassion. And even at Food Line, when I worked there, yeah, I mean, you just, when you see people coming through and the children and looking at the food, and I can see my families, and I know that these people need all of this. You just, compassion.
I think you realize and appreciate people differently as you get older, as you have different life experiences, and you realize that not everyone has the opportunities that others have, and there's just times people need some help, and whether it be fixing a home or fixing something else legally or other things, and just you have to step forward sometime and do the same thing at work as you do with SalkSunday. Just try to help somebody in need sometime.
Right.
I think it has been a tremendous effect on our youth. I have never seen any of our youth who have gone to SalkSunday who have not been affected by it. It just really, usually they come back and they tell us about it, and they are just so moved. I think what happens to a lot of young people, your friends are pretty much in the same economic bracket as you are, and you just think everybody lives the way you do. And then you go to SalkSunday and you see the difference in lifestyles and how people are really in need, and it really affects the young people.
Right.
I've seen life changing in a lot of young people. I think it reaffirms the need out there, and it just, like I said, when you help like that, you come away with more blessings, I think, sometimes than the people that you've helped. It's just, I don't know, it just opens you up to realize there's so much need out there. And I think it is real important for young people to get out there and help in things like SalkSunday, work in a soup kitchen, whatever, to just realize the need that's out there.
I see youth that go to SalkSunday. We see some that appear to be misfits, that don't really, some that are mad at the world. I've seen some that are mad at God. Their parents mom or dad has passed, and they're living with grandparents, being raised by other people. And to see them go and not want to talk to anybody, mad at the world when they get there, and by the end of the week, God has worked in their lives to where they have a whole new set of friends. They have a whole new outlook on life. They see God's love.
What keeps you wanting to go back?
Gets under your skin, it gets in your blood, you have to do it. It's something that I feel like that's my small way. I'm not one that's going to go to Africa. I don't care to go to Haiti. I don't care to go out of the country to work, because we have so many people in the United States that need help.
I think that SalkSunday, what it means to me, is it's a middle ground between myself, yourself, and the world. It's a middle ground between us and society. It's almost a mediator, like where we can be a friend, we can love somebody, we can care for somebody, we can build up and not break down. And it's just being a witness to somebody else that need help in their walk of life, because this life is a grind sometimes. It's tough sometimes, and a lot of people get worn down, including myself. I'm guilty too. But I just think it's something that is very supportive altogether, where it can be a huge benefit. It's a huge mission in our own community and in my own life.
It's just something about it. I mean, it's 1 week a year. It's not a month or 2 months. It's 1 week a year where you get a chance to know you're doing a good thing.
Right.
It's not even working on houses sometimes. Worship at night.
Right.
Dinner time. With meals and families, and you talk with your friends.
Yeah.
It just brings you back every year.
It's the feeling that you get when you help people, but it's more than that. It's the community, it's the family that you establish when you get connected with a camp. It's like your family. It's going home for a family reunion every year almost.
It's so fulfilling, you know. God's called all of us to do something, and I challenge people everywhere I go. You know, if what I'm doing is not for you, that's fine. But find what it is and be passionate about it and do it, because God's called all of us to do something. We talk about the Great Commission, and that is finding our niche, finding just what God's called us to do. And SalkSunday has been one of those things. I've always been a hands-on person, doing things with my hands, and SalkSunday lets us do that. At the same time, it lets us use our mental capabilities of planning and doing things, but it also lets us use our spiritual gifts of caring.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at roofing now.
I've
been doing that for 3 years straight. I finally got a year off.
This putting on roofs, that's a young man's job.
Good deal. Let me ask you a question. Why did you want to go to Salkhatchie?
Well, my family, they would always tell me how fun it was and stuff like that, you know. And I was like, well, I want to go and just like for the experience and have a connection with God, you know.
Okay.
And then he says that you're supposed to help the people that are less fortunate than you. And so I just felt like I needed to do that.
What keeps you going back?
It's what keeps me from not being able to go back. I have to go back. I can't define why. I can define why I can't, because I would feel incomplete. I have to do Salkhatchie.
I started as a 14-year-old kid with glasses and a bowl cut and not knowing anybody there, to now when I step in, you're greeted at the door. Hey Andrew, how's it going? Everybody knows you, especially the ones that go year after year. But as a camper, you know, you really didn't know what to expect going in. Now you go in with the mindset, what do we have to do? What do we have to get done? So the camper site leader difference is pretty extravagant.
I've already been told I'm a junior site leader next year.
All right, junior site leader. That's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, it is.
You excited about that?
Yeah, I'm ready to see what it's going to be like.
Yeah, it's about to get real.
I believe it.
Have you ever seen God do something just incredible at Salkhatchie, like just provided something in a big way, or you know, you walked away thinking that had to be God?
This year, it wasn't on my site, but they were telling us about it during worship. There was people, like, I don't remember what site it was, but they ran out of water, and this lady was just driving by, and she was been watching them all week, and they were up on the roof working, and she stopped by one day, and she just gave them like 2 cases of water out of the blue.
Wow.
That's probably the biggest change is when you tear a roof off and then you hope it don't rain.
Yeah.
You got a bunch of kids and you run out of time and the clouds are brewing and you ain't got enough tarps to cover it up. And what you dread is the worst is making the place worse from being there.
Right.
But the clouds blew away and it didn't rain till we covered it up.
Yes.
And when you get into some homes, we had one last year that we thought would not be a problem. You know, it's one of those that you thought Ronnie would take care of that in about 2 days and go and help someone else. But everyone that I see, it seems like there's always more than you anticipate.
Yeah.
And it's overwhelming. You say, how in the world can they fix that? Because you don't know till it's torn out.
Right.
And it reaches the point when it's torn out, you say, how can they ever do that in a week? And I think overall the God thing is that they can take something that's impossible to do in a week and do it.
God's there every year. If he wasn't, we wouldn't get the things done. I mean, just this particular week, I called Ricky Sunday after or Saturday night, and I said, I just have a monumental task. But somehow we got everything done except for putting her sink back together, the plumbing underneath. I still am amazed that we got so much done.
Definitely. Well, I'm gonna take a time. We got
Okay.
plenty of tape. So you can make up.
I can remember Susan and I, we had postponed starting a camp in Loris for several years. She and I both felt we were called. I could find every reason and every excuse not to do it. And we were on our way back from Lexington in Columbia one year. And we just looked at one another driving down Interstate 20 and said, that's it. That's it. We'll do one more year, do our assistant camp director duties, and then we're going to start a camp. So we came back and we posted we were going to start a camp in Loris, and we did. And I had limited resources, limited tools, and we were worrying about the logistics, about how to make things flow and how to make things happen. And how can we cover things if there's not enough money? Because there are always overages in different areas. And we knew that, having been to Salkhatchie for years. And there was a gentleman, a friend, who just out of the blue stepped up and says, I want to help y'all start a ministry here. I understand you're going to start a Salkhatchie summer camp. Don't know a lot about it, but I know a lot about you and Susan. And I'm willing to support you because I believe in you. And that gentleman just wrote a check, he handed it to me, and I just stuck it in my shirt pocket. And we conversed a little longer, and then on my way back home, I reached in my pocket and pulled it out. And it was $5,000 seed money to start a Salkhatchie camp. And I thought, man, I wonder where it's going to come from. And it showed up.
Yeah. Why should I be a part of Salkhatchie?
It's a good experience.
Yeah.
I mean, I've told some friends about it, and they're like, they kind of think, why would I want to go to work on houses for free? But really, you'll learn to just look right past that. But I'd tell anybody to go.
Because the grave could not hold him, I know my God, he is coming back. Because death has lost its sting, I know this world can never hold me back. It's the sound of amazing grace, sung by sons and daughters, that tells me I'm gonna be alright. And it's the sight of your loving face, it's more than a suggestion, and now we know we're gonna be alright. He rose and walks again. I know my journey with him never ends, because he took away my sin. I know that I will always be with him. And it's the sound of amazing grace, it's sung by sons and daughters, that tells me it's gonna be alright. And it's the sight of your lovely face, it's more than a suggestion, and now we know we're gonna be alright. It's the sound of amazing grace, sung by sons and daughters, that tells me we're gonna be alright. of your lovely face. It's more than a suggestion, and now we know we're gonna be alright. It's the feel of a holy place. It's more than ordinary, and now we know. We're gonna be alright. It's alright. We're gonna be alright. It's alright. We're gonna be alright.
Don't touch the ball. Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
So is Sonny Harper a dancer?
No.
Well, thank you for your
Thank
time.
you.
Definitely.
I really wish you wouldn't ask such hard questions.